Hello, Billy Ray Huzzy with Southern Folk Pottery Collectors Society, and I just want to invite you in for just a few moments of your time to discuss Edgefield, South Carolina's early 19th century pottery. And we got a good example right here that I'm going to use actually. This piece right here. And it's marked, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but just real quickly, a lot of different markings come out of the area down there, and for years they associate with different theories, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. But this piece is from the two brothers actually, Reverend John or his brother Abner, and we've got a piece of Amos in here, but Amos was a potter himself, so he was well versed in pottery making, and he might have been one of the ones that helped train the slave potters. And through our files, we've got documenting from Howard Smith's survey of many years ago, almost 100 names of slaves that were involved in the pottery business, and almost 30 of them were potters. And these makers were not trained potters by no means. They were trained by well-accomplished potters from the old world, and the Landrums were that. And the Landrums were very fascinated about trying to create everyday usage pieces while they had this clay body that was here that's known as kaolin. And we'll look just a minute right here at this mark right here. It's a backwards E, and we've got many of these marks. There's backwards C's, there's inverted V's, there's F's. There's Roman 1s used in 1 or 2 combinations. There's X's, there's slashes. There's a number of marks. We've handled probably as many as 15 to 20 of these marks over the 35 years we've been dealing with Edgefield pottery. And this is made from ash, alkaline glaze, and they put a little drip here on the top to reinforce, to strengthen the handle for usage. And the thing is about these slave potters were that an exhibit recently at the Metropolitan Museum in New York had a kind of an interesting title, Hear Me Now. And if you go through the book, they were unknown makers. And that's the sad part about these makers. And for years, going back to the theory on the markings, was that a lot of people thought they were slave markings, which is not ruled out. Some people think they were production marks, how many pieces were made by a certain potter at a shop, or shop site marking. So there's a combination, and that's why I wanted to bring it to light a little bit, because we've had some questions about this marking and what does it mean. And another person asked, well, how can you tell if it's a slave potter or a trained potter, or untrained potter, if you will? And usually the way that the piece is shaped, not being negative about the shaping, but this clay turned horrible down there because kaolin didn't have a lot of body to it like iron bearing clays does, and it doesn't hold up. And when you're pulling on it, as you're pulling from the inside out on the piece, if you go back and pull it more than once, it'll start setting down with you. So these pots are usually heavy, and that's not reflective of the potter's ability or inability, but just the clay had no substance to it. So usually when you pick up Edgefield pottery, you'll notice it's very heavy, and usually it's in the bottom and up in the lower half. And it's no fault of their own, it's just the way the clay was. So just bring about, and they like to use this double collar neck throughout, and it ranged many different ways. And this piece dates to probably in the late 18 teens, early 20s. And the Landrum started a place called the Southern Pottery Manufacturing Company. That was the earliest pottery made in that area. So the handle was all pulled by hand and put on, welded on the sides. And it's just a beautiful piece. And it's hard to believe this thing's in the shape that it did from the time it came from the potter's hand unloaded from the keel. And it's fired to about probably 2,400 degrees. To melt this glaze like this. It's just a beautiful piece. Even a double dipping where you see the strength of the upper body. Alright, if you have any more concerns, just give us a call. Thank you so much. And I want to show you one sort of a decorated piece, talking about if you see this dark iron glaze here, they formulated glazes with this, and you'll see some of Dave's work, Dave Drake's work, says signed L. Miles, and a lot of it is in that iron bearing clay. And if you see the bottom of this, it's very white, gray, oatmeal colored, and they did have a darker clay, which they found out, but it didn't do well with their glazes, so they stayed with this kaolin clay. All right, and it's in our sale number 60, and just give us a call. I thank you for your time, and I hope it enlightens you some. Thank you for your time. Bye now.